On today's show, we'll discuss the international recognition our athletes have gained in recent memory, and we'll also have a throwback on one of the best games that the women's volleyball team has had before the season was cut short.
Yes, and lastly, an interview with one of our Golden Tigresses' most familiar contributors that you do not want to miss. My name is Danielle Chingcuangco.
And I am Kobe Dayao, and you are tuning in to UST's premier sports show, The Frontrunners. Throughout this pandemic, where the sporting world faced numerous difficulties, a bright spot emerged for our local athletes: international recognition. And for a country who possesses a tremendous pride in sports, this is definitely a huge deal.
Yes, and quite specifically about international recognition. First off, we have 30 Ravenna, who is in San and Neo Phoenix of the Japanese B League. And you know what? Back in 30's UAAP season, he has been really promising, helping the team to bring them onto the finals, wherein, and considering also that he is the lone three-peat MVP in the UAAP finals. So now that he's in the Neo Phoenix, he's been helping the team perform as well.
Right. And, with 30, he's a first time for everything. He's the first three-peat champion in the UAAP. He's the first Asian import in the B League. So definitely a lot of achievements that backs up 30's career. And I know that a lot of people would love to see 30 Ravenna play in the PBA, but with the skill cap that 30 has on him, and just the sheer maturity of him as a player, it's definitely exciting to see what he has in store for international play moving forward.
Yes, and on to another international recognition, we also have Kaisako, which previously he was to play this season in the NBA G League and then planned to enter the NBA draft this summer. But, life, as is so often the case, is life. Things get in the way, plans change. Now he's been signed up with the ABL, Australian Basketball League, which is his move, wherein it has been creating quite some noise simply because it was similar to LaMelo's move as well, wherein he spent one season into the league before becoming the first round draft pick. So whatever Kai is doing, he's probably cooking up something. He's working towards reaching his NBA dream, wherein he's now preparing for the 2022 draft.
Right, and I think I'd like to call that the LaMelo Ball effect, because obviously the Australian Basketball League was highlighted by LaMelo Ball, and it's definitely a great avenue for Kai if he wants to get into the NBA come the 2022 draft.
Yeah, he's pretty much young, got a lot of potential, and pretty much working on his draft stock now. On to another flagship event of volleyball, we also have Jaja Santiago, which is quite recently. She was recognized as the first Filipino volleyball player to bring in an international pro league title in the sport, in which it's actually a historic win. Even more so, previously, Jaja was able to lead the Ageo Medics to a V-League bronze medal, leading the team to land a podium finish, in which Jaja was also the first Filipino to do so. So I guess that win was vital for her, and given these milestones, Japanese citizenship is being offered to her, which can be a stepping stone for her to play in the Olympics. But that is her dream. But of course, basing on her interviews, she of course would like to put the Filipino community first, wherein she prides in. And of course, if the opportunity is there for her, especially if the Philippines would be able to go into the Olympics, she would definitely still be representing Philippines.
Right, and to anyone who is upset with Jaja, with the Japanese citizenship and all that, all I have to say is go get that bag, Jaja. You deserve it. You've bring so much pride already to the country, and if another country is taking care of our homegrown athletes more than us, then by all means, because they still have the Filipino blood in them, and they still have the pride of the Filipino fans with them wherever they go. At least for the fans who understand the circumstances that they're in. So kudos to Jaja. I'm so happy for her, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of her fans are happy as well that she's being taken care of and achieving a lot of great accolades with this move.
Yes, and in the grand scheme of things, a lot of Filipino players has been playing in different leagues abroad, and this is something that we Filipinos also pride in because they're also representing not only the sport that they care so passionately about, but also the country as a whole.
Yes, and again, a lot of international recognition for some homegrown talents and talents who are aspiring to go beyond the local scene. So we wish them all the best, and hopefully we see them on the international stage more and more as the years go on. So that is all that we have for this part. But please do not go anywhere because the Frontrunners will be right back after this break.
The entire UST community were hopeful that in season 82, the Golden Tigresses would go on another round to reclaim the women's volleyball crown. The squad lost their best player in Cici Rondina but reloaded with young players rising to the occasion, including the return of EJ Laure. Sadly, the season was halted early due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nonetheless, we got to see a glimpse of just how special the squad might have been.
The team lost a 5-setter against the Lady Bulldogs in their first match, and their next game showed just how good the Growling Tigresses are with a whopping 3-0 win against the Lady Tamaraws. Ching, the volleyball team, the Golden Tigresses, definitely showed in the short time that they were given that they were supposed to be a force to reckon with. Obviously, the first matchup wasn't the best to show, but it did in the following matchups prior to that. They did give a glimpse to the entire volleyball community, just how dangerous they could have been. And the FEU Lady Tamaraws were a strong team, and for them to go 0-3 against UST, that speaks volumes to just how good the Growling Tigresses were.
Yeah, and it was really exciting for that season as it was starting off because a lot of players were really showing different kinds of skill sets. And had the season not been suspended, the hopes were really up for the Thamasian community, especially for the Golden Tigresses, to compete into the finals, considering also their gameplay. EJ Laure coming back into the team, bringing her leadership and experience. It was something that we all looked forward to, especially that she will be sharing the floor with her sister, Ea Laure, and their tandem. It was something exciting and would have probably been great. And I guess it's also worth mentioning that Ea was already an MVP candidate last 2019.
Yeah, Ea in her very young career already made noise in the MVP discussion. Obviously, CC won that, her teammate. But just the mere imagination that we all had with Ea and EJ playing together again, in a time where Ea Laura is arguably a little bit better than EJ, and EJ is already by far as an amazing player, right? So that fact alone, along with the other players like young players like Aimee Hernandez, it would have been an exciting matchup, and those were definitely the players that impressed the Thamasian community the most, and those are the players that we look on for in the future, minus of course EJ.
Yes, of course. Aside from them, what also impressed me was Aimee Hernandez rising into the occasion, wherein her dynamics as a player, her lateral movements, it seems as if she was really built for a middle blocker, and there was no other rookie hitters. She is really a top gem rookie, just like any other team, of course, players as well as Casey Galdones, Rachel Roldan. These are the players who's been creating the team in creating such gameplay.
Right, and you mentioned about Aimee. Aimee could have been Rookie of the Year had the season continue. I believe that USD could have been a top seeded team with the core players that they had, and obviously with the guidance of Coach Kung Fu, who is an experienced coach, obviously, and just a well polished coach overall, both on offense and on defense. So those factors alone could have been a marking that USD could have ended in at least, at the very least, the top 2 seeds in the tournament. But it's one of those what ifs during this pandemic that we probably will not see for a brief period.
Yes, and going back to Aya Laure, she has got such experience wherein her experience it was a veteran level wherein she won that going back she won that she was already on the MVP candidate in 2019, and I feel like that her her gameplay would really bring the team to a win. And looking back also on their previous game before the season was halted, they had an encounter with the FEU Lady Tamaraws in three straight sets, in wherein in that game they have rebounded from a five-set loss from the NEU Lady Bulldogs. I guess that has probably served as motivation for them to work on whatever it is that they had to prepare for the next game. And during that game with the FEU, it was really an impressive 3-0 run. The Tigresses had a good service, had better communication, better reception, defense, point system was good, and it was just a breakthrough for that season.
Right, and again, let's go. Like you mentioned about the loss in the first game to NU. Had it not been a race to three to three wins, the three set wins, I definitely think USD could have pulled that off, because obviously there was a lot of mistakes. It's a new team. They're still trying to get a feel from themselves, but it wasn't a completely bad game for them, right? There were so many bright spots. The execution down the stretch in the final set just didn't pull off for them, but they did show a lot of glimpses of taking over the game, and they made that evident against FEU the following game. So kudos obviously to the coaching staff, kudos to the Laura sisters, and again, yeah, I know we've said her name on this episode a lot of times, but Amy Hernandez with her skill, athleticism, and just her awareness on the court was definitely a cut above the rest compared to other rookies. And if you're asking me if she had the Rookie of the Year in the bag, based from what I saw, it was probably the case.
Yeah, definitely. And because entering the collegiate level, she's already been preparing for that. She's been veteran in field. It was something she's been preparing and mastering Coach Kungfu's system. And yeah, so to keep the conversations going about volleyball, please don't go anywhere, because the Frontrunners will be right back.
And we are back on the show. So earlier today, we discussed about the USD Golden Tigresses, just to look back on their brief run with season 82, what to expect of them in the future. But now we take a look back and invite one of the more memorable players on the team that you guys probably know of. She was the former captain, and now she's on here to share some of her amazing stories and insights from the team. So without further ado, let us welcome on the show Tin Francisco. Tin, what's up? Thank you for being on the show.
Hi, yeah, thank you rin po for inviting me. It's definitely a breath of fresh air, getting to see other people, considering na nasa pandemic nga tayo, kahit virtual. Ayun.
Yeah, have you been able to meet any of your teammates since the pandemic, or really wala talaga?
Meron pero pa isa-isa lang, but kahit sabihin mo kasing isa-isa lang, syempre iba pa rin yung magkakasama kayo na diba, as a team. And syempre strict din yung protocol, so we don't really get to see each other or bond as much as we'd like.
Yeah, so how has it been now that we're in quarantine? All this type of setup is differently. Has training been different for you?
Well, definitely it's changed a lot kasi since yung health protocols na pinafollow natin, wala masyadong, you don't really get to practice your skills on the court. So, yung up until my last semester for UST, our conditioning coach has just been giving us a series of workouts, trainings, yung wala masyadong equipment, things you can really do sa bahay lang. So, yeah.
So, Tin, obviously you've been with the squad for a good amount of your collegiate career. So, what are some of the moments that you miss the most about the team and playing in the UAAP?
Siguro no-brainer na syempre yung mga games, matalo-matalo, magkakasama kayo. But the bonding that happens before you step on the court is definitely the one I'd say na pinakamamimiss ko. Kasi doon mo mabubuo yung yung parang pinakasamahan mo. Spectators would just see how players would parang cooperate inside the court, but prior to that they don't get to see how we're made. So yung talagang yung iyakan, yung tawanan, yun yung pinakamaganda talagang nangyayari sa isang team. So that's definitely something na nami-miss ko, yung kulitan, yung gano'n. Kasi that's really one way to to get the team to gel sa yung chemistry ba. That's how you build it even before you step on the court. So ayun.
Yeah, indeed. It's one way to get to connect with your teammates, right? So every Filipino athlete dreams of playing at the Final Four level, especially in the finals. So how was that experience being in the middle of thousands of people and on live TV?
I've only been to the Final Four once, but syempre, it's really memorable and masasabi ko lang, if you look anywhere aside from the court, yung kalaban mo, if you look anywhere aside from the bench and yung coach mo, it's really overwhelming. Kasi I, for one, am a really parang shy person. So parang really private ako and I'm not really that good with, parang makisalimuha sa super daming tao. And it's really overwhelming at first. But, yeah, naman, it's overwhelming but at the same time it really builds yung parang maha-hype ka din parang there's thousands of people cheering you on and yun yung mga times na kahit sabi mo pagod na pagod ka na they're really the ones na magpupush sa'yo to just play the game. So that's what it feels like para sa Final Four. It's overwhelming but at the same time it's really exciting. Ayun.
So in that final stint that you guys had, you played with some amazing players. You yourself was a very significant asset to that team. As the captain, how did you kind of like in that scenario, like what did you like tell your team? Ano yung ini-encourage mo sa kanila? And obviously there was some mistakes that you had to get through on your way to the finals, and what did you always preach to your squad as the captain of them?
Siguro yung prior kasi yung naging setup namin was that, di ba UAAP, si CC Randina na yung captain for that final stint on UST. But before that, yung mga pre-season competition. So since si CC nag-play pa sa beach volley nun, I was delegated, so parang interim captain. But dun sa short time na yun, it's always really a matter of reminding your teammates na parang napakalaki ng potential nyo as a player. Kasi yung batch namin, yung naabutan namin was really super daming juniors. Halos lahat sila first year. And they didn't really, syempre wala pa masyado experience sa collegiate scene. It's because of the, yung sa K-12. So parang, nung naabutan namin sila, talagang freshman, tapos biglang kami na agad, fourth year, so walang in-between. And then, siguro ang pinaka-lagi lang namin sinasabi sa kanila was that, despite being a rookie on paper for college, you guys are basically veterans na having been played. Yung iba nga doon mas matagal pa naglalaro sa amin kahit na mas bata sila, diba? So, veteran mindset lang, just play the game, sumunod lang. It's basically parang yung 3 S's lang ni Coach Kung, sumunod. And then 3 M, makinig. So, those are basic, they're just basic instructions, pero malayo mararating mo. So, that's what you always tell them. And then, siguro nung 82 na finals, I wasn't there because I was injured. But siguro, ang nagawa ko lang nung time na yun was, kakausapin mo talaga kasi kahit wala ka sa loob ng court, meron ka pa rin responsibility to your juniors. And it's always a matter of reminding them na parang, for example, ako nakikita ko sila sa labas, I watch their games, parang, uy, itong play na to, pwedeng ito yung magawa mo sana, ganyan. You know, parang, I can't play with them. But the least I can do was, you know, to have them see where they went wrong, you know, praise them for all the things they did right. Yung ganong balance.
It was sort of like an outside looking in type of situation.
Definitely.
So much time has passed from, as you mentioned earlier, from Miss Volleyball Cici Rondina herself to you, Tin, and there are other inspiring athletes out there who are looking to live the dream. So, what is the mindset that you can actually pass from one athlete to another?
For me, I guess it's parang you don't need to be an extraordinary person to be part of something extraordinary. Kasi for most schools, di ba, ang labanan kasi is recruitment, talent, you know, you scout talent, you scout from sa kasulok-sulukan ng Pilipinas, naghahanap ka talaga ng talent dyan. And mga naturally gifted, di ba? But in my case, parang ano kasi, I was really just ordinary. So parang simple lang, parang hindi naman ako recruited dun eh. Coming out of high school, I wasn't recruited. I'm not even that tall. There's a lot of parang players na mas physically able, diba? Mas athletic in build nila. But for me, it's really just a matter of, it doesn't matter kung ano eh, hindi. Parang, it doesn't matter if mas maraming magagaling sa'yo. What matters most is how hard you'll work.
Now, Tin, I can't let you go without asking you, obviously, about how excited you are to play in the PVL. You're playing for Coach Kung Fu again, and we all know you're coming back from an injury, but we know that's already past you. So what's the most exciting part about, you know, playing for the Lady Troopers, playing for Coach Kung Fu, and just getting back on the volleyball court again for you?
I think yung the moment na kapag na-lift na yung health protocols, yung training pa lang exciting na eh. Kasi, you know, yung itong pandemic na to, we don't know how long it's gonna last. But the moment na magkaroon na ng go signal, you know, to get back on the court, kahit paunti-unti lang, it's doon pa lang excited na. I think I can speak on behalf of everybody who's playing volleyball. Sobrang nakakasabik. Kahit yung training, kahit sabihin mo gano'ng kahirap yan. You know, makahawak ka lang ng bola, makalaro mo lang ulit yung mga teammates mo. That's really exciting. And then, of course, yung level of competition sa Premier Volleyball League, considering na they recently turned pro, there's a lot of teams na, you know, na nag-join din. The level of competition is really going to be tough. It's parang nasa peak na siya ng intensity. So, yun yung nakaka-excite din doon. You know, you're gonna get the best of all, if not all, the best players in the volleyball scene here in the Philippines. And that's really exciting, you know, to gain as much experience as you can, and then hopefully podium finish and pong championship, diba? Whatever it takes to, you know, just get back, play the game.
So again, Tin, is there any last words that you have for the Thamashan community and to everyone who is looking forward for your return?
I guess it's, well, first and foremost, everybody needs to stay safe. Nakakabagot man, need to stay inside their homes and, you know, limit lang yung paglabas-labas. Always, parang our health really should always really come first. So, ayun. And then, Tomashans, alam ko miss yun na yung UST. I bet you're already forgetting what it looks like. Pero, mating tiyaga lang, you know. Makaka-apak din ulit tayo sa UST, guys. So, everybody just stay safe, you know, just nakakabagot man, pero tiis-tiis lang talaga, wala tayong magagawa.
Yeah, so thanks, Tin, for showing us how much heart you put into this sport. And definitely, it is something that our Thamashan community is really looking up to. So yeah, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Yes, and I think I can speak on behalf of the entire Thamashan community that we're very excited to see you back on the volleyball court very, very soon. Again, like you mentioned, once health and safety protocols have been lifted, and we do not doubt that under Coach Kung Fu, you're going to be a great asset to the Lady Troopers. So that is all the time that we have for today's show. We hope that you'll join us again next time as we continue in bringing you the latest news and latest news and updates from your local sports team. My name is Kobe Dayao.
And my name is Danielle Chingcuangco, calling out the final play of the game exclusively here on UST's premier sports show, The Frontrunners. First in line and legacy through time.